shit, guys. Fire our shit.
Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to the garage. I'd like to talk to you about recent changes to the Tier 7 tanks with the advent of Update 4.5. There's some stuff going on here. Now, let's face it, some of them have truly benefited from the changes dropped with the patch, and I'm going to highlight just a few of my favorites here. First on my list, the Tiger tanks. And actually not just the Tigers proper, the Tankenstein and Ferdinand that make use of the Tiger P hull also benefited. Now, Tiger 1 is, as you all know, my very favorite tank in the game, and for me, the buff to the rate of fire makes this tank nothing short of awesome. As I have my Tiger 1 configured with the gun rammer and chocolate, I enjoy a 12.13 round per minute rate of fire. With an average damage of 220 hit points, that's a DPM of 2668, damn near 2700. Oh baby. As well, a buff to engine power of 80 horsepower, speed in reverse climbs to 14 kilometers per hour, and a buff to turret traverse speeds to 26.07 degrees is very welcome. The combination of these buffs really puts this tank on a whole nother level, even if it still suffers from less than excellent armor in game. Tiger P, on the other hand, well, this is more like a complete package, more so now than ever before. Not only has it received the same gun upgrades as Tiger 1, it has had some of those annoying armor issues, specifically to do with the cheeks on the front of the hull, dealt with. These have been buffed up to 200mm from the 80mm they were before, which really helps this tank out. As well, an extra 1 degree of hull traverse doesn't hurt anything, neither does the horsepower increase to 720 horsepower. Dispersion on the move, and while traversing was reduced as well, the gun mantlet armor of 135mm and 100mm behind, as well as turret traverse increased to 26.07 degrees also helps strengthen these tanks. Tiger P is going to be a real terror in good hands at Tier 7 now. Our old friend Tankenstein likewise got some interesting buffs. As with the Tiger P, the hull cheeks were buffed from 80 to 200mm, which is a significant improvement, of course. As well, dispersion while on the move and during traverse was reduced to 0.23, while also increasing turret traverse speed from 16 to 26 degrees. That's a whopping 10 degrees, and you can really feel that. The BK4503 had some nice buffs as well, having a 2 degree buff to hull traverse and a large 6 degree buff to turret rotation. As well, reload time was reduced significantly by just over 1 second to 6.04 before consumables and equipment. Of the rest, the AMX M445, well, didn't get that much love. It got a reload time decrease from 6.71 to 6.23 seconds. Not even quite half a second, but hey, I guess every improvement is an improvement. And then we come to the Black Prince, a tank I've always liked but have definitely struggled to do well in. The Prince gets a much needed buff to hull traverse of just over 2 degrees. Turret traverse also buffed, but far more significantly by over 6 degrees to 27.12. As well, reload time of the 77mm gun was reduced to just 3.64 seconds. Will this be enough to make Prince more competitive? I don't know, but the old rule still applies. Don't get caught out in the open in this tank. Even the IS and KB3 got some love this time around. Heck, we wouldn't want anyone to think that Russian bias was just a rumor now, would we? IS received a significant buff to hull traverse of almost 7 degrees, making it up to 34.42 degrees per second, while turret traverse speed also increased very close to 7 degrees. Both of these buffs make the IS feel lighter on its toes to me. It's a good tank, I think it's better now. KB3 had engine power increased to 800 horsepower, and hull traverse increased nearly 3 degrees, while turret traverse was buffed almost 6 degrees. I used to dislike KB3 very much, mostly before its mobility problems, at Traverse being one of them. But after playing with these buffs, I think I'll be playing it quite a bit more in the future now. The Tier 7 Premium American Heavy, the M6A2E1. It's not a tank I was really enamored with before, and the small buff of just over 2 degrees to turret traverse and reload times decreased just over 1 second. Well, they're not enough to make me a fan still, I'm afraid. But there it is, that's what it was. And now we need to discuss the so-called fantasy tanks in the game, which I know a large portion of you detest, but some of you also like them a lot. But regardless of which side of the fence you call home, you'll have to deal with them as enemies, so you might as well have this knowledge. Yes, I know Tankenstein is technically a fantasy tank, but it's not included here as I have never thought of it that way because it's built from parts of other existing tanks. Kind of like a Mad Max junkyard build, if you will. Lupus gets traverse buffs for the hull of just over 2 degrees, and turret traverse goes up significantly by just over 6 degrees. It will be interesting to see how that improves this vehicle overall. Predator Ultramarine's heavy tank receives a hull traverse buff of just over 3 degrees, engine hit points that were also greatly increased, no specific number given. Reload time was reduced by 1 second to 11 seconds, and the chance of fire when hit was reduced from 10 to 5%. That's a pretty big decrease. Nameless receives a significant turret traverse speed buff just over 6 degrees and 1 degree reduction to dispersion while on the move and during hull traverse. And last, certainly not least, nor a heavy for that matter, the Vindicator Ultramarine's TD also receives significant buffs to its engine hit points, as well as a decrease in the chance to be set on fire when hit, and while not specified in the patch note, it is likely the same as the Predator, now at 5%. As well, the average armor penetration of its heat ammo was increased from 137mm to 150mm. Also interesting to note is that many vehicles had their reverse speeds increased from 12 to 14 kilometers per hour, except for a few like M6A2E, Lupus, Predator, Vindicator, Tankenstein, and Black Prince that had no increase in reverse speeds, while KB3 went from 10 to 12 kilometers and the Nameless from 11 to 12 kilometers in reverse. Well folks, there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below. If you really enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments. As well, be sure to visit my social media pages, both on Facebook and Twitter. This is where I post info that, well, not belonging in a video, it's worth taking a look at. I would also like to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. You folks are making a huge difference for me. If you like what I do and enjoy the community all of us humans are building, please consider supporting the mission via my Patreon page. There are quite a few options with varying levels of support. Maybe one of them will suit you. Links to all things in the video description. Alright folks, thanks very much for stopping by and watching. I'll catch you next time.